Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Muzzle Is Off Podcast. I am your host, Nakia Monet, and we have a special guest with us today. We have Pastor Demetra Hubbard. Welcome to the Muzzle Is Off Podcast.
Having me.
You are very much so welcome. And as you guys all know, this month our topic is surviving after loss, joy after the storm. And as I have stated before, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this podcast, number one, because it's very dear to my own personal experience, but it is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. We actually do have our own good special day, which is set aside for October the 15th, which is technically tomorrow, but since the podcast airs on a Wednesday, hence here we are on this Wednesday. And I wanted to continue the conversation, a conversation that we do not typically have, a conversation that we do not typically have publicly, basically. A lot of us women, when we have experienced pregnancy loss or infant loss, we actually do talk about it amongst each other and we support each other. But one of the ways in which we don't talk is publicly. And I definitely wanted to have this conversation publicly because I believe that we need to remove away from the conversation the shame, the guilt, the inadequacy, and a lot of the pain, right? That us women do experience. And we have Pastor Demetra Hubbard with us today because she's going to share with us her experience of how she survived after loss and how she made it to joy by going through the storm, right? Because we understand that in order for us to reach a certain level of contentment, in order for us to reach a certain level of joy, right, we got to make it through what seems like it is an inevitable storm. One of the things that I can say is that when you experience a pregnancy or an infant loss, you literally feel like the world has come crashing down on you. Yeah. And in order to make it through that, it takes a lot mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and also physically, because sometimes you literally cannot move. Like you literally can lose your mobility, so to speak, because you don't have the wherewithal within you to get up. And I want to bring the conversation to the forefront because I just believe that it is an important conversation to have, and it is an imperative conversation to have. And it's one that can literally bring about healing to a lot of us women, bring about a certain level of awareness to those that are supporting, that are in the supportive role. And also for those that are not in the supportive role, but you hear there are some things that you probably should not say. Right. Because there's some things that some of y'all say that are a little insensitive to what we're going through. So, Pastor Demetra, I am going to let me tell y'all, we are basically going to, I always tell this to people, and it's just the truth. What you're about to experience is how we talk.
Right.
Okay. So we're not scripted. We don't have no piece of paper with a long list of questions that this is what we're going through. You're going to experience how we talk, because I believe that it is important that when you're relating with people, you have a conversation. So this is what you're going to experience. This would be like as if we talking one-on-one, but we are actually bringing you into the talk on how we make it through, how we survive, and how we obtain the joy after the storm. So go on ahead, Pastor Demetra. Introduce yourself to the people, let the people know who you are, all that good stuff, because I know you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Demetra Hubbard. I'm the pastor of House of New Beginnings Ministry in East Orange, New Jersey. I'm a wife. I'm a mother of 9, technically. I'm telling you, God is good. And I thank God for Sister Nakaya offering this forum because it is a well needed subject to be talked about. And it is a sensitive subject to talk about. And as I explained to her, this is my first time ever speaking on a public platform. I've told my testimony during times of me ministering or just times of just telling my testimony, but I've never actually had this forum to actually get deep and talk about the whole aspect of infant loss and pregnancy loss. And one thing about me, I'm very transparent. I'm very honest and I'm very upfront. So you won't get no deepness from me. I'm going to be honest with you. I got married in 2006, and my husband was my first. I vowed, God, I'm gonna save myself, for my husband. Was I perfect during that whole, waiting for God? No, I wasn't. I did some stuff. I sure did. But my husband is the only man that can never say he bit of the fruit.
He better come on and bite up the fruit the husband bit.
And so once we got married, and we had already discussed before prior time, when we get married, I'm going to be a housewife. I'm not working. I want to have a house full of babies. That was my desire. That was my goal. And my husband coming from being the only child, so that was our conversation. And when you think about getting married, the saying, first come love, then come marriage, then comes the baby and the baby carriage. It's not as easy as the world makes it. In my mind, I'm thinking I'm getting pregnant on my honeymoon night.
Right.
That was my plan. I'm going to get knocked up. I'm going to have a baby. But nobody never prepared me for the rejection of my own body. My body turned against me. Nobody prepared me for those countless months. Let's see, I got married in 2006. And if I could be totally honest with you, from the time I got married up until 2014, that I had an actual baby to come out of me, I was obsessed with being pregnant. I was obsessed with it. A baby story. Every month, if I can count how many pregnancy tests I bought a month, it would add up to a good amount of money because that's how obsessed I was with wanting a baby. And so, we did what married couples do. We didn't use protection. We did whatever, what comes natural. And we would try month after month. And I'm like, well, why am I not getting pregnant? What's the problem? And at that time, I was much heavier than what I am now. I was over 330 pounds at that time. So I knew that could have been a factor, but I didn't let it stop me. We continued, to continue to try to get pregnant. I went to fertility doctors. Oh, there's nothing wrong with you. But mind you, prior to that, I had always had problems in my cycle. And no doctor never addressed PCOS or endometriosis. I was told I did not have that. I was told I just had irregular because of my weight. And all of these years that I tried with my husband to conceive, it never happened until 2009. And I was belonging to a church, and this is where the plot really thickens because I belonged to a ministry that knew that me and my husband was trying to have a baby. So they prayed for us. And every month, you ain't got pregnant yet? Don't do that to a woman that's trying to have a baby.
Mm-mm.
Don't ask when y'all gonna have children. That was it made me feel less than a woman because my husband had came into the marriage with children. I had none. So I already felt that I was less than a woman because he wanted children with me and I couldn't give my husband what he wanted. So I was already fighting my own personal demons because then I had to wind up raising his child. His child became our child. And I was always in a battle because her heart, she loves me. We have a wonderful relationship now, but I always knew her heart was divided because she had her mom and she had me. And and that she'll never love me and I'll never be her mother the way she needed, the way she needed. So that was a constant fight for me. I had to fight with another mother to be a mother. And so that, though that went on for years. As I stepped into that mother role, I had adopted, not paperly, but this one, my daughter Jessica, from a school that I was working at. She became my daughter. So I'm like, well, God, I guess I'm gonna be a mother this way, because obviously you don't want me to have children. And now this is only 3 years of me trying. And in 2009, me and my husband, we finally did conceive. And it was a Wednesday night. I will never forget this night. It was a Wednesday night, and we finally conceived. And I went to church Wednesday night, immature and excited. And I told my pastor, he told the whole church,
Mm-hmm.
the Lord did it. The Lord blessed. Demetra is with child. Well, that Saturday morning, I had a minister's meeting. And as I was sitting in the minister's meeting, I began to cramp and I began to feel pain. And I went into the bathroom and I began to miscarry my baby in my church's bathroom floor. And that was my first miscarriage. And the embarrassment and the shame that came with it, I can't explain it. I couldn't even go back to church for a few weeks because I was so ashamed. And my pastor called me at that time. He said, "You gonna come back to church?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna come right now," because I was ashamed to walk back into a place where everybody was just rejoicing. Oh, we prayed and it happened. And then that same week, life just drained out of me. And so as I sat in the bathroom of my home, I was crying out to the Lord. And he said, "Demetra, I'm gonna make it up to you." And I'm like, "God, how are you going to make this up to me? I begged you and I pleaded for a baby." It's from 2006 to 2009. Me and my husband fasted. We prayed. We did all of this, the supernatural, the spiritual stuff that we're supposed to do. And you mean to tell me you bless me, but then you embarrass me and take life back from me? And all he said was, "Demetra, I'm going to make it up to you." Fast forward, I got pregnant again in 2010. Same thing happened. I miscarried again. By this time, I was emotionally distraught because all I wanted was a baby. It had become so bad, Sister Nakaya. Baby showers. I couldn't go to baby showers. I couldn't be around pregnant people. And at this point, I felt like God was torturing me because one of my daughters that I was raising, I had to be in the room with her while she gave birth. And that thing crushed my soul because I'm like, "God, here I am. I love her, but God, here I am, a married woman. And I got to hold the hand and help somebody else bring life. And I'm begging you for life." The Lord said nothing to me. And fast forward, years went on, and I was like, "Okay, God, you taking too long. You're not going to give me a baby." So me and my husband discussed adoption and fostering children. And my husband's biological mother, was losing custody of her children. And she asked me, "Demetra, can you take my children at the time?" And we talked about it. And I took her children, and one of them went to their biological dad, and I adopted the other one. And I was content. I said, "Well, God, this is the life that I'm going to have." And because I was already a foster mother, I was in the system. Fast forward, they called me in 2011 and they said, "Miss Hubbard, we have a baby boy for you. Would you like to foster him?" I said, "Yes." They brought my baby to me and I began to foster him. And then fast forward a few months, he had siblings in the system. "Miss Hubbard, would you like his siblings, because they're in a foster system and they need somewhere, to go. We're closing their home down." God allowed me to adopt 4 children within the span of 2 years. And as soon as I adopted, I had begun working on my weight because my health was beginning to decline. I was high blood pressure, um, diabetes. So I allowed, me and my husband came to an agreement and I had sleeve surgery. Immediately lost 100 pounds. Immediately diabetes went away. And nope, let's go back. I got pregnant with my 6-year-old while I was 300 and something pounds. And that was a rough pregnancy because I bled through my whole pregnancy. And not only did I bleed through my whole pregnancy, every night I had to take suppositories to keep my cervix closed because I kept almost losing him. They had to keep stopping my labor because he wouldn't hold. And finally, he was born at 31 weeks. He stayed in the NIC unit. And I was telling Sister Nakaya this already. He stayed in the NIC unit for about 2 months and he came home. And when he came home, I remember one Sunday, I just told her this. My baby just stopped breathing in my arms, turned blue, stopped breathing. I knew CPR, but I could not perform CPR because by this time I'm screaming at God, me and my husband. God, you didn't do this to me. You didn't give me a baby, and now you're going to take him back from me. And as time, my mom was able to perform CPR and the paramedics came. And when paramedics came, he was admitted to the hospital. He came home and under all these machines and the oxygen, pulse ox, and all of this stuff that I had to deal with. And I didn't sleep because every night I'm looking and scared that I will lose him. And can I just go back a little bit and just talk about the emotions of the loss that women go through? A lot of times, we blame ourselves or we think that we're not good enough to carry a baby, or we go through this guilt of beating ourselves up. Well, what's wrong with me? I'm not good enough to be a mother. I'm not good enough to carry a baby. And that's what I did to myself. I walked around smiling. I walked around still loving my husband, still loving my family. But every day I would look at myself in the mirror and be angry with myself because I would tell God, I can't do the one thing that you created me to do. That's all I want to do is be a mom. That's all. I don't want nothing else. I don't want fame. I don't want fortune. I just want to be a mother. And when I say, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, I was obsessed with being a mother. I was obsessed with pregnancy. Anytime, every month, I can't even imagine if I had a bill for the pregnancy test that I've taken. It could have paid a car notes off.
Right.
Because that's how obsessive I was. Every month, am I pregnant? Every sex was not enjoyable because I'm too busy trying to get pregnant. I couldn't enjoy my husband. Not that it wasn't good, but I couldn't enjoy it because all I'm thinking about is make sure you do what you got to do so we can get pregnant. This was my life. It was consumed with wanting a baby. And that is what happens when a lot of women deal with fertility. And when they have to deal with their family members, they have to watch other people have children. They have to listen to the comments when y'all having a baby, or if you lose a baby, you young, you could have another one. That is the most that is the worst thing you can ever say to a mother that has just lost a baby. You're young, you can have another one. God makes no mistakes. All of those comments, it don't make me feel no better. If you don't know what to say nothing. Just close your mouth. Just send a heart text or something. But none of that, there was nothing nobody can say to me. And I remember being so depressed. And my mother signed herself out of the hospital. She came in my room while I was laying there. She bust the door, but she said, get up. Get up, wash your behind, clean your house, and get yourself together. You're not the first woman that's having trouble, that has lost them. And this sounds harsh, but I needed to get, it was like, in The Color Purple, when she squeezed her and said, come on back. It was that moment that my mother, she had to pull me back. She had to pull me back into reality and say, Demetra, listen, you either going to believe God or you're not. You either going take God at his word or you're not going to take God at his word. Yes, it happened. We don't know why, but guess what? God is still going to perform. And I had to hold on to that, what God said to me in the bathroom, I'm going to make it up to you. And I thought that once I adopted my babies and I had my babies, I was content. Oh, I'm fine now. God, you didn't let me have my own, but I'm fine. But there was still a void in me. There was still a discontent in me. I had my babies, but I kept looking around saying, but God, this is not bone of my bone. This is not flesh of my flesh. And then that's when I had my baby in 2014. And we went through his health challenges with him. And after his birth, then I decided, you know what? I need to lose weight. I need to be healthy. And I had the surgery in 2015. 11 months after I had the surgery, guess what? I got pregnant again. I got pregnant again to my now 2-year-old, which was a okay pregnancy, but he was born at 29 weeks.
Wow.
Yes, 29 weeks. He was in the NIC unit. And after he got out the NIC unit, I had to go through again with him going back into the NIC unit because he had contracted coronavirus. It was a different strand back then. He had contracted coronavirus. My baby had a seizure right in my arms. And after he had that seizure, he didn't wake up for another 14 days. Beth Israel, North Beth Israel Hospital. So when women have deal with infertility, or when they deal with loss, or when they deal with the joys of having babies, people think that because you had a miscarriage, you have a baby, that the pain of losing a baby is not there anymore. Or they think because you didn't physically hold a baby, it's not there anymore. The pain is not there anymore. If you fast forward a little bit, 2019, I got pregnant again. It was not planned. This was we didn't mean to do this. It just happened. And I was so excited because I had two boys biologically, and I wanted a girl, my own biological girl daughter. And I miscarried. I went for a routine ultrasound. And when I went for this routine ultrasound, that's when they told me the baby I was, what, 12 and a half weeks. And I had a belly. I had begun to show at this time. And the baby had no heartbeat. And I scheduled myself the next day to get my DNC. And I went in for my DNC, and they, take tests and everything. And what hurt me the most was the test, the testing that they run. It was a girl. What I had lost, what it was, the baby I had lost was a girl. And I'm thinking that it was over. I had my DNC, but a week later, and I was telling Sister Nakaya this, a week later, I ended up back at the hospital, bleeding and in pain. Obviously, she did not complete the DNC. And we were just talking, that's how a lot of Black women now are dying, because the doctors are not listening. We know our body. We know when something is wrong. I lay in Beth Israel Hospital and I contracted for over 10 hours by myself, miscarrying a baby that I thought they had taken out. And nobody knew, about that pregnancy. I think my church had just found out because I wore something one Sunday and I had a belly. And they was like, "Is Pastor pregnant?" You know, and that shook me and that rocked me. Where I was telling my mother, "Listen, I need to go to therapy now for real, because I'm really like messed up. I'm really, I can't do this." Nobody want to say this, but I was mad at God.
Mm-hmm.
As saved as I was, sanctified as I am, preaching the whole nine, I was angry with God. I cussed, I hollered, I cried. I didn't want to pray. I didn't want to do anything because I felt like, God, you blessed me, not even ask you this time. And not only did you bless me, but then you took the blessing back away from me in the most tragic. Oh, so when we talk about surviving and finding joy, can I tell any of the women that are listening to me, it is possible. It's possible to find joy. It's possible to smile again. It's possible to believe again. It's possible to hope again. It's possible because guess what? Our bodies are created to do this. And a lot of times we have to make proper adjustments to get our bodies in alignment. And you have to find the right doctor that's going to have patience and that's going to listen to your concerns, that's going to take your concerns serious and help you achieve you and your husband's goals. And even in, let's talk about the husbands for a minute. Me and Sister
Mm-hmm.
Kai was talking about that. We focus a lot on the women because the women are the ones that have to carry, the women are the ones that have to lose. I was angry with my husband because my husband wasn't grieving like I was grieving.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see him grieve. I wanted to see him break down and cry like he saw me break down and cry.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to have to reach over and hold him at night because he woke up out of his crying like I would wake up out of my sleep. And I didn't see that. So I became angry. And that became a wedge between my emotions. So let's begin, even as for the women that are dealing with infertility, that are dealing with loss. I know that we're in our own bubble and I know that we're dealing with our own stuff, but let's not get so deep in our stuff that we forget about our, they hurt too. They lost a baby too. They deal with insecurities too. They may be saying, well, what could I have done to make it better? There's nothing nobody could have done. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing nobody could have done. Your body, our body just rejected those chromosomes. Because trust me, I researched, I looked, and I began to strategically pray. I command X chromosomes. You,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the
yes,
numbers, all the way up
all
to
the numbers.
26. Hello.
Yes, that's how obsessed I was at one point with becoming pregnant. And it's possible. It's so many women walking around that are dealing with infertility, have a smile on their face, but they are so broken and so messed up emotionally because they feel so insignificant. But I'm here to tell you that it's hope out here for you. It's joy, after loss. It's a rainbow after the
Mm-hmm.
storm. Cry if you need to cry. How about this? Go to counseling. Talk to some. I don't care if you was 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Guess what? You still had a loss. It was your baby. You conceived that baby in love, you and your significant other. So guess what? You have a right to grieve. And as I tell people even now, there's no time limit on grief. I'm approaching a year. November 17th will be a year of the loss of my last miscarriage. You think I don't still have emotions? I still got pictures of me posting on my belly in my phone. I just felt some type of way the other night because I'm like, God, my baby will be such and such old this time. Don't allow the enemy of your mind to torture you and to make you feel that you're not good enough or that you're not worth being a mom. Because guess what? As long as your heart is pumping and as long as your heart is beating, you have a right to love and be loved, share love. Somebody needs you, whether it's some child in a foster care system, some child needs you. Hold on to whatever the Lord has said to you, whatever the Lord has promised you. I'm a living witness. No, I didn't get the my girl that I so want. I would lie and say I don't desire more children. I would be a liar if I said that. I say all the time, I will have babies as long as God allows my body to have babies. People tell me, "Oh, you don't need no more kids."
Hmm.
Don't do that. It's a
Don't
it's
do
a
that.
joke that they right. It's a joke they say. You in my business. Don't do
Hmm.
that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't tell me what I can't do when I know what God can do. So that is my testimony. That is my story. Um, I can't get it. I can, but I don't know how to express the deep feelings of grief that will make another woman feel better. Because guess what? There's nothing nobody can say to make you feel better, ma'am, sir. Just know that there are women out here that are going through what you went through. And guess what? I just found out I had surgery in February that I have PCOS after all these years. Now you're telling me I got PCOS, polycystic ovarian. Now you're telling me this. Now you're telling me this. So women, know your body. Speak up for yourself. Be your own advocate. There's no way I had to have surgery to have scar tissue removed. And when I looked at my discharge papers, it said PCOS endometriosis. Yeah. So know your body. These are things that women deal with, and we'll never know unless we advocate for ourselves. So you mean to tell
Mhm.
me all this? I'm dealing with infertility and I could have handled this back then, but because doctors were being so quick and was not taking their time to meet my needs, they would not address it. Oh, you know what their issue was? Oh, you're fat. You got to lose weight. That's
Right.
what they. Oh, you need to lose weight. Just because you're a big girl don't mean you can't carry a baby. Big don't always mean unhealthy. Know your body and know what your doctor, and make sure that your doctor has patience for you. My doctor I have now, I love him. The most patient doctor in the world to me. He holds your hand. He explains everything to you. And that's what women that are dealing with infertility need. They don't need a doctor that's going to be quick and overtalk them and shun them off. Amen.
Amen. That is the
Like,
truth.
I'm open for any questions that you have, any discussions you want to have. I'm an open book.
Let me put that out there for the people that are definitely watching and listening. So, if you do have any questions, comments, or anything like that, put them in the comment section because we can see them. We can definitely see your questions. Um, what I want to say is thank you. Thank you for taking us on this journey with you. And that's one of the reasons why I called it a journey, because this is not just something that you experience at one time. It literally is a journey. You know what I'm saying? It is multiple life experiences happening in order to get you to the place of where you can say, okay. Because when you're actually trying to get pregnant, you can't breathe.
Mm-mm.
That's what you express. You like, I can't breathe. No, I'm full. Sir, you better make sure that shot hit.
Right. I'm ovulating. It's time.
Hello. My temperature is right.
Yeah.
Because all people don't, when you're trying to get pregnant, you pay attention to everything that goes on.
Everything.
You're checking your body temperature. I mean, they have it down to the point where you can listen here. Depending on how my discharge look, I know this, that, and the third. Therefore, I'm right here in the middle of ovulation because I'm discharging this way. I know there are people that be like, listen, I know exactly when I'm ovulating because I can feel it. It be on my right
Yep.
side, my left side, my down side, my bottom side, my other side. There's so much that you literally, as a woman knowing your body, you
Yes.
know so much.
Yes.
And when you know it, and then for it to not happen, and you know what your body is doing at that present time, it's like you just slapped me. Actually, you punched me in the gut.
Right. Right.
And then, because, from my own personal self, I had been going to doctors for a very long, we women, so we go to the OBGYN.
Right.
I never questioned it when I was younger why I could not conceive, right? I never questioned it. I just thought, oh, whatever. Clearly, you ain't the right one, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Never asked no questions or nothing like that. It wasn't until I got older and I'm like, something don't seem right. Like, why can't I
Mm-hmm.
conceive? And that was when I went to the doctor and she diagnosed me with PCOS, polycystic
Mm-hmm.
ovarian syndrome, right?
Right.
But the diagnosis came at such a weird time because I too, a lot of people don't know this, but I too had a weight loss surgery. I had the gastric sleeve because I found myself severely overweight, and no matter how much I worked out, I wasn't losing it. Right.
Right.
So when I went to, and now the crazy part, I went to a nutritionist that did a full workup blood panel, sent the blood panel like to Texas somewhere because there's this one facility in Texas, she said, that does, that will literally grow your blood over a period of time. So that the culture will tell you how your body is reacting to food. Right.
Right.
So when we did that, that was when she gave me pages of information concerning basically how my body was reacting and where I'm deficient and also the extra stuff, right? So it was at that time that I learned that my body was basically turning everything that I ate into sugar, which was fat. So even if I ate a salad was going to turn to fat. Even if whatever I tried to eat healthy, it didn't matter. It was automatically going to turn into fat. Why? Because my body was producing too much testosterone, not as much estrogen. So therefore, the testosterone levels were a little too high. So when that happens, it actually messes with your insulin. People don't understand how all these things, which is crazy, all these things are intertwined together and literally can affect your ability, your reproductive system as for a woman, right? So at that time, when I saw the nutritionist, she was like, listen, we're going to try and trick your body. We need to try and reverse this. So here's what I want you to do. She was like, I need you, first thing when you get up in the morning, I need you to eat protein. And then as you go out, go during the course of your day, always eat your protein first. I just need you to eat protein and stay away from carbs. Even through doing that, it wasn't working. She put me on all types of vitamins. I'm going to need you to take D3. I'm going to need you to take CoQ10. I'm going to need you to take all that stuff that she put me on. It didn't work. I still couldn't lose weight. Weight wasn't going nowhere. So I had the weight loss surgery because it was like, I said, I'll give you a year to help me. And if in that year this don't work, I'm having this surgery. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you do. I'm not having this. Even through all of that, the doctors never diagnosed me with PCOS. It wasn't until I moved down to Georgia, and it was after I had the weight loss surgery. I was going to my sister's, she had an OBGYN. I was like, let me go to her. She was a Black woman. You know what I'm saying? Georgia's like the Black people mecca of all specialties. You go to Georgia, everybody Black. Okay. So I'll go down there. So I see the lady or whatever. She runs all these tests. She's like, no, you have PCOS. You'll never conceive. I'm like, damn, that was harsh.
Right.
Okay. Thank you. Then she, further does the examination and she was like, you feel that? I was like, yeah, that hurt. Thank you. She was like, you have fibroids. Did you know that? I was like, yeah, I had fibroids since I was in my 20s. Yeah, I know that. Because when I was like 21 years old, I went to an OBGYN and they were like, oh, you got fibroids. I was like, okay, what does that mean? They were like, oh, nothing, they're small, nothing, not a big deal.
Right.
Fibroids, not a big deal. And that's what they tell you. Every time you go to the doctor, you got fibroids, not a big deal. That's okay. Well, come to find out, those fibroids were the big deal.
Wow.
Right? And they were a big deal because that was it wasn't PCOS. Like the OBGYN that I have now, he was so thorough because he specializes in fertility. And he was like, we ran, like, in order for me to get pregnant, we ran a series of tests and I did a series of procedures, which was annoying. Okay.
Yes.
To put your body through that. Okay. And when we did them, he finally came out and he was like, you have fibroids. I said, I know. He said, yeah, but your fibroids are blocking the entry. So then he did the whole little diagram. See, this is your fallopian tube right here. And this is the opening to your uterus right here. So your egg is dropping, but you have a fibroid that's blocking, so it can't get picked up. So that's why you are technically infertile, because you have fibroids that are blocking, right? Okay, no problem. Cool. Thank you. He's like, so we're going to remove them. Okay, no problem, right? Well, they tell you that the surgery is simple, right? We go in, boom, remove them. You know what I'm saying?
Robotically.
What they don't prepare you for is the after effect of the surgery. Like, how much blood did you lose?
Right. Or pain.
How much pain are you going to be in? I lost a lot of blood, damn near bled out after the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Then on top of that, it hurt to even breathe.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily, right, the black doctor, I love her, Dr. Peace. I talk about her often. She came in and she saw me because, like I said, I almost bled out after the surgery, right?
Right.
She came in and she saw me. She was like, Nakia, I'm so sorry that this happened to you. But don't worry, I'm on it. She wasn't my doctor. She worked within the practice. But because I had cussed them out good and well with all the good words of the strength that I had after being pale, from almost passing out, from bleeding out, she came in there and I kid you not, I literally just got rid of it. She made me like a little pillow thing, wrapped it up with tape. And she said, anytime if you need to laugh or whatever you need to do, just press this.
On it. Yep.
And it won't hurt as bad. It's going to hurt. But just because I didn't know I was like, I'm in pain. I can't move. I can't do nothing. This is terrible. Y'all should have forewarned me about this. And I literally probably just got rid of it once I moved back to Jersey this time, because I had it all that time, because it was just like a memory. Like, I thanked her for that, because as a black woman, she understood, because a lot of times they don't listen to us.
Right.
And you do have a lot of black women that are dying post giving birth. Why? Because we're not being listened to. We're telling you, I'm in pain. Like, I never forget, even when I went home from having the fibroids removed, I kept busting out with an infection. I had a fever out of nowhere. I just had a fever. And I was like, something is wrong. Something is wrong. And I kept calling him. I'm like, something is wrong. I don't feel right. Something is wrong, to the point where the doctor finally had to get back to me and be like, I'm calling in a prescription right now, because I kept taking my temperature. They don't listen to us. But we go through all of this. We go through all of these changes because we're determined to do what we said God put us on this earth to do. Increase and multiply. Our job. He gave us a reproductive system.
Right.
An entire system to carry, to hold, to incubate, to give birth. And you're trying to tell me I ain't gonna be able to do that?
Right. You just crushed me.
Yeah, because like you said, my body is fighting against me. My own body that was put here on this earth to do a function, you're telling me my body can't do that function.
Right. And
then you have, like you said, insensitive people. Well, you already adopted. Well, you know, you still young. You still got time.
Yeah.
Do I? And do you really think that's something that I want to hear while I'm fighting?
Right.
And that's why I think that's why I said, we got to remove the guilt and the shame from talking about it, because at the end of the day, people need to understand, if you're going to be a support, be one.
That's right.
If you're going to be...
Okay. One comment that was said to me when I had my miscarriage in November. Well, you got 5 kids already in the house. Don't you have enough? That was said to me. You already have 5 in the house. Don't you have enough?
No.
This one. You should be grateful that God blessed you with the ones you have. I am grateful, but if I desire more, then that's my desire. It didn't come easy. I tell two details. I conceived with Clomid. I don't know if anybody is familiar with Clomid. It's a fertility drug called Clomid. Because I couldn't conceive on my own. So I took Clomid. What it does is you take it on your third day of your cycle, and it shocks your ovaries and makes your ovaries very aggressive, so that when it's time for you to ovulate, you aggressively ovulate. Like, you remember we were just talking about, you feel everything. I am the type of woman, I know my body so well. I know when I'm ovulating without having to take a test. I know when I'm ovulating without having to take my temperature. This is over 13 years of obsessing to know when I be like, babe, I'm ovulating. It had gotten so bad where I couldn't tell my husband when I was ovulating.
You just had to be
Because
like,
it was like putting him under pressure. He told me, babe, don't tell me when you're ovulating. Don't tell me when you're taking medicine. He said, because it's going to put too much pressure on me. And me and my husband, I'm very transparent. And I talk to him and I let him know I'm going to be telling some of my stuff. Me and my husband have literally argued during sex. Because I'm like, come on, what's wrong? Like, we got kids. We ain't got time. Let's go. I need you to get this done while I'm ovulating for one of the kids to wake up. This is how women get when they are obsessive with having a baby. People don't understand the pressure of just wanting a baby. The one thing that you want is a baby. You go to extremes. I told my GYN, you are the only doctor that I see so much. I know my insurance company must be like, what is wrong with this girl?
let them pay.
Right. I went for a procedure today. This is the only doctor I see the most. But it comes from other doctors not hearing me out, not listening. So now, all these years down the line, now I got to deal with the repercussions of my body acting up when we could have handled these things in 2006 and 2007. Now I'm fighting in 2020 because you were not sensitive enough to know things wrong.
Not being sensitive to know. And that's the key. That's what I told somebody earlier today. I said, I wish that they would have been as diligent when I was in my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because that would have been much better than me being in my 30s. And I'm looking like I'm in my 30s now. I'm single now. Lord, I don't know. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, Lord, I don't know. Lord, a lot of these men, they don't want no more kids. They finished.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're finished. They already have their children. They've done all of that. And it's hard to find a happy medium within that, right? Because a lot of times when people have already had their kids and their kids are already 10, 9, 8, whatever,
they're done.
You are done.
Like, and then you fighting against a time. Then you fighting against a time clock. Because, women, they tell you after 35, you're high risk. I was 40 when I had my first one, 42 when I had my second one, both, my biological babies. When I conceived them, I was already over the threshold. So they already threw me the high risk category, or, your baby may have,
Down
problems
syndrome,
Down syndrome. My baby ain't gonna have no Down syndrome. You would have treat me like you would treat a 25-year-old.
Right.
As long as I'm not showing or exemplifying issues. These are things that women deal with. When they're in their early ages and having fun, or as they say, living the life, they're not thinking, some are not thinking about babies and thinking about settling down. But once they get settled down and realize, wait a minute, I ain't got pregnant yet. And I've been loose with it. I've been married to my husband for 15 years. And I used to say, ain't no way from the time we got married in 2006 up until when I finally did conceive in 2009. I said, something is wrong because we ain't never used protection. So something got to be wrong. And my husband, used to joke, well, it ain't me because I got 2 kids. So that didn't help the situation. So obviously, I'm like, it's me, and I would be angry with him, like, babe, I can't give you no babies. I'm sorry. I'll be like, I'm so sorry. Or when the daughter that we were raising, but it was his biological, when she would go with her mom, I would cry, because I'd be like, I want somebody to have my heart. I want to be somebody's heart. I want to be somebody's joy. I want to hear somebody's mommy, and I'm the only mommy that they know. And that torments you as a woman that is dealing with infertility, because, like I said previously, your body is rejecting the very thing that you were created for. And that's not something that you can just brush off your shoulder. You know how many women cry themselves to sleep at night because they cycle came down? You know how many times I used to cry when I used to have to, when my cycle came? Oh God, you did it again. You know how many women do this on a daily basis? That every time they cycle come, they going through all types of emotions. They crying. They can't tell nobody because what's, oh, it happened when it happened. Stop trying to force it. You got 10 kids. You go sit in the corner and tell yourself stop.
Right.
I'm just trying to have one. But these are that we deal with as women that nobody talks about. These are battles that we deal with as women that we put a lid on, because you think it's easy to have a baby. Just go have sex. It's not that easy to just wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Some of us gotta fight and scratch and go through hoops and get all types of procedures to have a baby. So this is a much needed forum.
And a lot of the times people don't understand why does a miscarriage bother you so much? A lot of times people don't even, and the truth of the matter is, if we really want to talk about it, and I know a lot of people don't like to admit it, but although a woman might have decided to have an abortion, that does not mean that doesn't silently torment her, and not for the reasons that people think.
Right.
Because it's still a loss.
Right.
And a lot of the times we don't view it that way. We view it as, well, you made a decision and you chose to abort a baby, so therefore you're a murderer. And it's like, no, ma'am.
Oh.
No, ma'am. You don't know why.
Right.
I made a decision to have an abortion. You don't know why. And whether you agree with it or not, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever your reason is, you don't have the right to tell me.
Judge it.
Period. Whatever the reasoning is. Because a lot of times it's psychological.
Right.
A lot of the times it's financial. A lot of the times, people need help.
Right.
And we don't want to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Like I told somebody, back when I was 18, I had an abortion. I was 18 years old. Was it a decision that I was proud of? Absolutely not.
Right.
Was it a decision that I made on my own? No, because I was adamant. I'm not having an abortion. I'm keeping my baby. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care if my parents put me out on the street. I'm keeping my baby. But I had people come to me and be like, Nakia, what are you going to do? How are you going to support this child? How are you going to do this? Where are you going to go? You have nowhere to go. Where are you going? And I was just like, I didn't think about all of that. And where is the father? I was like, I don't know. Did you call him? Yes, I did call him. Multiple times I called him. Is he answering? No. Well, do you even know his name? I know his first name.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Right.
18. I had literally, I found myself pregnant a month after I turned 18.
Wow.
1 month. I turned 18 in January. By that February, I was pregnant.
And a lot of times, Sister Nakia, a lot of times, when women, have abortions at a young age, and then they get older and they are ready to settle down and have a family, and they can't, or they're having problems, the torment of that abortion comes back to them.
Oh, it came back to me heavy. It came back to me so heavy. I thought the way people had me thinking, they had me thinking God was punishing me because I had an
Oh.
abortion back when I was 18.
Mm-hmm.
God is angry with you.
Mm-hmm.
He's punishing you.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that
Yeah.
to the point where I punish myself. So, no, am I seeking out answers for why I can't conceive right now? No, because this is the punishment of God.
Mm.
God is angry with me. So, therefore, this is my punishment because He's angry with me. Besides the
Mm-hmm.
fact that I was already angry with myself because I didn't keep my own child. Besides the fact that I was angry with myself that I did not stick to my own guns, right?
Right.
Forget that. God is angry with you and He shut up your womb. That's what you're
That's
told.
the foolishness. That's the foolishness.
Okay.
And you will be
So,
surprised how many women are dealing with just that alone.
because
They,
that's
they,
what you
they're going
believe.
by, right. They're going by their mistakes of their past. And now that they're married and they found someone that they're falling in love with and they can't have children, or maybe haven't fallen in love and they just see that is a tormenting battle. And I've actually had to counsel and minister and encourage people dealing with just that alone. Listen, God is not holding you accountable for this. You did what you had to do at the time. You repent, you do what you got to do, but God is not holding you accountable, against you. For that matter, a lot of stuff I did. And
Hello.
I did some stuff that I shouldn't have a husband right now. But God didn't hold that account. He didn't hold my past and my mistakes against me. If God wanted to hold those things against me, I would still be doing some of the detestable things that I loved doing before I came to Christ completely. God would not have even allowed me to experience love on this level if that was the matter. So no, even speaking to the women that are listening to us and that are going to listen to us, don't even allow your past. If you had to get an abortion or you had to do what you had to, don't even allow that to torment you and to make you feel that God is punishing you. Can I tell you, God is not punishing you.
No.
Get to the right doctor and find out what's going on with your body. Learn your body. Do what you have. Sometimes you gotta work. All the work ain't in the bedroom to make a baby.
Come on. Some of it is in there though, y'all.
Yeah, some the fun stuff is in there. But some of the work that we as women we have to
No, we
do,
gotta do
we
research.
have to we have to research, we have to learn, we have to be willing to learn, you have to study, learn your body. Learn the different symptoms. Know your body, like I just said. Know what's going on with your body. It's not some women are lucky. I say lucky. Some women are lucky to just lay down and just pop goes. I ain't that. I'm not she. I'm not that woman. And guess what? You may not either. It's going to take some work on your behalf. It's going to take you to find a doctor that's going to have patience, that's going to listen to you, that's going to give you every test. Let me tell you something. I've had every test. I don't know if you ever
Hello.
had a biopsy. You ever had a biopsy?
I'm not doing it. Girl, I know people that have and
That
Lord,
is one of the most painful.
I
I
just
was
felt
in the
the
doctor's
pain.
office. They do it right in the office. I was in there screaming. I walked out embarrassed. Like,
Like, did you hear me?
Like, did you hear me? So we go through some stuff to conceive, and not just conceive, but we fight to carry.
Fight
I
to carry.
fought to carry my babies. You hear me?
Fight to carry.
I fought to carry my babies. Every night I had to put a suppository that my cervix could stay shut. So it wasn't just, a fun thing to just, babe, come on, you want to make a baby? Yeah, come on, let's go. No, it wasn't that easy. And it just may not be that easy for you that are listening. You may have to do what it requires. It's gonna take some doctor's visits. It may even take, I remember talking to this one saved, sanctified woman, and I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking the power of God.
We
I've
are
seen
not.
the power of God work. Okay. I'm
Definitely.
not knocking it. I've seen the power of God work in my life. But I remember talking to a woman, and she wanted to conceive, and I said to her, I gave her my doctor. I said, listen, I took Clomid and I got pregnant. Oh, I'm not taking no medicine. I believe God. Listen, go ahead. Believe him all you want. And I want you to believe him. Hear me well. Please don't take me wrong, people. I believe in the power of God. But
Mm-hmm.
God also gives us doctors with ability that can do what your body cannot do. Some of our bodies need a little bit help. I needed help because my body was rejecting me. My body was fighting against me. My uterus wasn't, I had a hostile uterus.
Somewhat hostile uterus.
So I had to get some help. It doesn't make you it doesn't make you be faithless, or it doesn't make you not believe in God because you get help from a doctor. It makes you believe God. We walk by faith. It makes you say, you know what, God, I got enough faith that I'm going to believe you, that you're going to, my prayer, when I be praying now, God, I command my body to function the way you designed it to function. Put your power in this medicine and cause this medicine to do what my body won't do.
That's it.
I talk to when I tell you, I talked my body through my pregnancies. When I went to one, I knew I was bleeding, and I said, I'm about to lose the baby. And I talked to my body, and you wouldn't listen. You're not gonna die. You're gonna live. I don't know what happened for the ones that I lost. It was too late for me to talk to them. By the time I got there and saw on the screen that my baby had no
No
heartbeat,
heartbeat. Mm-hmm.
what was I supposed to do then? I got up off that table. I left my husband in that room, and I walked out crying, and I walked out angry, and I went straight upstairs. Get this baby out of me now. That's exactly what I said. Oh, we don't have an appointment until Friday. No, I'm not waiting. I'm not walking around carrying a dead baby in my belly. You will not torment me. It's already that I've lost it. You're not going to torment me for another 4 days. Get this baby out of me.
And let me say this, because some women called me a good liar when I said that they
Hmm.
will schedule you for days later to have that DNC to remove that baby.
Hmm.
And they sure enough will.
They will.
Because I learned my baby didn't have no heartbeat on a Tuesday. They did not schedule me to have that DNC until that Friday. And some of
Hmm.
y'all evil little women, you're a liar. You were never pregnant. They don't schedule it. Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. She tried to make me wait for days. I'm not walking around with a dead baby. You're not going to torment. And then I had a belly. You won't torment me.
That was pure torture. From that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, torture.
Torture.
When you know that you're carrying a dead baby.
Mm-hmm. And you know how they begin to prep you for the procedure. I couldn't even make it through I couldn't even get through the procedure. My husband had to basically answer all the questions, because I had like 5 and 6 doctors, the OR team. Do not come back in here and ask me no more questions. Y'all got my history. Y'all got everything y'all need. This is how angry I was. You have
Hell, my
everything that I
doctor was
need.
late. He was
Oh
late to
no.
the whole DNC. We
Oh
sitting up there, me, my sister, my spiritual mother. We like, well, Kia, you having this today? I said, they gonna get this baby out today.
Right.
Somebody y'all better call another doctor up in that office.
Right. Because I'm not carrying this baby another day.
What you're not about to do.
No.
Because
that's the mental torment that we go through. And it's okay. It's okay, and it's shameful. It's shameful.
And you know what? Let me say this, because what you said before, literally that Sunday, I had went to my spiritual parents' church, and that Sunday was when they had announced to the church that I was pregnant. Literally, by that Tuesday, I lost the baby. By that Tuesday, I was like, something's wrong. I don't feel right. I don't feel right. Like, when you're pregnant, you're going through the pregnancy symptoms. And I didn't feel none of that anymore. I didn't feel the nausea. I didn't have to urinate as often as I was, because I felt like me in the bathroom was one. I craved Pizza Hut. There was not a Pizza Hut that I wanted. I was like, I don't feel right. And then one of my friends, and I still had little Doppler thing, she had brought me, she mailed it to me. She had bought me a like an at-home heart monitor that you could do for yourself. Put the little gel on and boom. And I had did it. When she first sent it, I did it, and I found the baby's heartbeat. And then I tried it again, and I couldn't find the heartbeat. So in my mind, I did something wrong.
Right.
It was it was like the heartbeat that I found was it was like faint. So by that Tuesday, and I tried it again, and I didn't hear nothing. I couldn't find it at all. Made me call a doctor and say something is wrong. Because I wasn't supposed to go to the doctor until that Thursday. And I called them. I said, I need to come in now. Something is wrong. And they're like, what's wrong? I said, I don't know, but something is wrong, and I need to come in now. Something is off.
Right.
To go in there and sit there, lay on that table. And it was so weird, because it was like she had it all up on, the screen and everything, little sonogram, and I didn't hear nothing. So I personally thought that she had the volume down. Because in my mind, ain't no way. So I'm like, well, why she didn't turn the volume up? So then she tried again. Nothing. I'm like, well, why she keep doing this with no volume? And she didn't say nothing to me. She called the doctor in.
Right. That's what they do.
And she must have told him in that hallway. And he was like, when he came in there, he was like, lay back, Nakia, let me see. And nothing. So I'm still sitting there like, why they keep looking with no volume? Like, they need to turn this volume up. Yeah, why we not hearing what we just heard a week ago? Turn the volume up. No, ain't no volume. Because ain't nothing to hear.
Right.
And when he turned and looked at me, I kid you not, the only thing I could do, I balled over on that good chair table. Okay, because it's technically a chair that they just kind of lay back and everything. And I cried. And I promise you, because the doctor's office was full. They must have told everybody, clear this out. We gonna need, because I hollered in that whole office. And by the time I came out of that room, because they had shut down that whole sonogram room and everything. By the time I came out, because everybody that was waiting, they just had to wait. Because I couldn't move.
Right.
By the time I came out that room, they were like, come into the office. And I was bawling. But by that time, everybody in the office had already known, because they had already been seeing me come in there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So they were like, oh, Nikki, you finally pregnant? Nothing. They were like, I'm so sorry. I was like, I ain't got no words.
No words.
Ain't no words you can speak for that. Ain't none. And the only thing I had to, you got to chalk that up. and move. And the only thing I could chalk that up to, because, like you say, after they do the DNC and they do all the testing and stuff and you get the results back, and the only thing the doctor could tell me, he was like, this was an abnormal pregnancy. And I said, you're absolutely right.
That's all they say. Yeah.
And like I told him, I said, you're absolutely right. Was it nothing normal about this whole pregnancy? You're right. And thank you. Right? That's all I could say. You're right. You are. You, sir, you right. Right. And then he asked me, he was like, where's your husband? I was like, what husband?
Wow. That's right.
I said, you said it was abnormal, right? Here it is. But when you a woman and you going through all of that stuff,
right?
Not only physically, not only naturally, spiritually, emotionally, mentally. Let me tell you something. There were so many people that were close to me that when they found out I was pregnant, they were like, Nakia, you're going to have to stay prayed up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
yeah.
And you don't recognize this type of stuff. That's abnormal to me.
Right. Because you want to be joyous about it. You want to celebrate. But some of us, what we carry, we have to protect. I didn't tell anybody I was pregnant this past November. Nobody knew. And I didn't tell anybody I was pregnant with my 2-year-old until I was I had him at 29 weeks. Sometime when you know that your fight is abnormal, you have to stay silent about it.
And the truth of the matter, nobody knew I was pregnant unless you were close, right? We didn't even tell the church. He announced it to the church, not me. Wow. And then it's like you lose it.
Same thing with me.
And the one job that as a woman you say, as I'm the carrier, my job is to protect what I'm carrying. And when you lose it, you feel, I failed you.
I failed you.
I couldn't protect you. I couldn't save you.
Right.
I couldn't help you. You know what I'm saying? And that's the part that people don't understand. Like, it's not, oh, okay, I had a miscarriage. No, I feel like I am listen, when you got a real husband and he know his job as a man to do what? Protect, to provide. Whenever he can't do those things, he feels what? Inadequate.
Right, that's right.
If I can't make you feel secure, if I can't make you feel safe, I can't make you feel protected, I can't make you feel like you ain't got a care in this world.
That's right, then I'm not doing my job.
I'm not doing my job. So as a woman, our job, we incubate, we carry.
Yes.
And you trying to tell me my body can't carry?
Right. The one thing I'm supposed to do, I was created to do, I can't do.
No, it's not acceptable. And we don't accept that. And then the flip side of it is, what people fail to understand is that, like, I've had, like, people are, why you don't have any kids? First of all, dial that back. Because I don't know, I was expected to have kids right now. But dial back your question. And what you might want to do is position that differently.
Right.
Get to know me first. Then let me open up to you.
Right.
Why I don't have any children yet.
Right.
But for you to shoot off why you ain't got no kids? Well, why you got so many?
How about that? That's right.
What's wrong? What? You no self-control?
Right.
Because me not having any doesn't amount to your many. How about that?
Right. Right. And it doesn't make you any more of a woman than me.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that, if you want to piss me off, one of the word, and women, we do this a lot. Well, because I am a mother. Dial that back. Dial it. Recall.
Right.
Watch how you're talking to me.
Right.
Because as one who is not biologically a mother, I have yet and still mothered many.
Yes, that's right.
So what you might not want to do is that right there.
Right.
You don't know because you're not a mother. Oh,
You don't know what it's like. Oh, okay.
thank
Is
you.
that why your family is dysfunctional?
See, and it's like, now, we could go tit for tat with this, but us, because what you're actually trying to do is shut me up,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that's a shut up move. The shut up move is let me hit you somewhere that you have not actually physically experienced yet because you don't fully understand the battle that I have gone through to attempt to.
Right.
You don't understand this battle. And since you don't understand this battle and all of your self righteousness, you think that because you have become one,
Right.
that you can discount or discredit me because I have not yet become. No, you cannot.
And that's what causes women to put up a guard. And that's what causes a lot of they always talking about when women are bitter and women have attitudes. Have you ever try to find out what's wrong?
What happened?
What happened?
Why?
Why? Try to be more sensitive to the needs of your fellow sister instead of
Empathetic.
always, instead of always just coming at them in a negative way. Infertility and infant loss is a real thing. It's just as real as you losing a mother, a father. It's a real pain.
It is.
I can't, and I say this all the time to the church. I wish I could open my heart and lay it in your lap. I tell them this all the time. I wish you can feel and see my heart for as being your pastor. And I'll say the same thing when it comes to women and when it comes because see, I know how I felt.
Mm-hmm.
I was a hot mess. I was a hot, depressed mess because I could not have a baby. I was a hot, obsessed mess. I don't know, no, you talking about, I was a lifetime movie myself. Okay. A lifetime movie myself when it comes to wanting a baby, when it comes to being obsessed with getting pregnant. And you believe it or not, this is what happens. I was everybody's baby. I wanted to take everybody's baby. I'll keep your baby. I'll watch your baby
That is
because I'm
me.
trying to fill a void.
That is me to this
Mm-hmm.
day.
No, I don't do it no more. I don't do it no more.
You ain't well. You're like, keep yours. Keep all yours over there. I do it
Right.
to this day.
You just had a baby over a couple of weeks ago, right? I
Mm-hmm.
remember seeing a baby. Yeah, it's a real thing, Nakia. And it's a sad thing as well because so many women are going through it alone. Because even with their husbands will never understand. They can empathize, but their husbands would never understand, especially if their husband already have children. And that was my fight with my husband. My husband had his first child at 16. So I'm like, you know what it's like. You can look in the face of your child and you see you. And
Right.
that
I
was
just
my
want to
fight.
see me.
Right. And that was my fight once I adopted. I would look at them and I would say, I just want to see me. I want to see a reflection of who I am. I want something that I can say ours. Because and I just said to you a couple of weeks ago, my 11-year-old, he started talking about adoption. And somehow he was like, Mommy, would you ever adopt a kid? And I'm like a deer in headlights, like, I didn't know what to say. And then he said, Mommy, would you tell me if one of us was adopted? And I called my husband and I was like, Malachi has a question. And my husband somehow was able to divert the conversation. And I told my husband, I said, eventually, which is soon, we're going to have to talk to Malachi because he's older. And that was always my fear of me not being able to have my own biological babies, that they're going to find out they're adopted and they're going to go look for their biological mother and they're no longer going to want me or need me. This is what the women that are dealing with infertility and have lost babies, this is what they deal with. They want somebody to look in the face and say, this is mine. My kids say all the time, why Samuel look like daddy? I don't look like daddy. Where our baby pics at? I was tempted to go and start cutting out pictures and putting them up, because I don't want them to ever feel any different. So it's a real issue, and it's a something that the women, is something for us to work through as women trying to, conceive and carry. Because it's a difference in conceiving and carrying.
Yes, it is. Because when you can conceive, but you keep losing on the carry,
That alone
that's
is painful.
right.
I lost back. I lost in July, and then in 2009. Then I lost in November, I believe. Well, no, I lost in November 1st, and then I lost in July, back to back. That was back to back. Like, okay, God, you keep letting me get pregnant. By this time, I'm really mad. I'm mad.
It's like you playing with my
You're
emotions.
playing with my emotions, Lord.
Hmm.
Like now you're teasing me with the idea, that it's gonna happen,
And it ain't happening.
and it ain't happening. You know,
And then boom, it happens.
right,
And then it happens again.
right,
But then you experience another loss.
right. Because I'll
And
tell
it
you that,
takes you right back.
right. Come on, this last one in November, I had my last baby, Daniel. I had him in 2018. I wasn't trying to get pregnant again. I really wasn't. Lord knows my family think I'm trying. Oh, you just want a bunch of baby. I do, but I really wasn't trying. I was prepared for surgery. I was going to have surgery. I had to have some scar tissue removed because of my prior C-section. And you know how they have to do pre-op testing? They called me and was like, Miss Hubbard, we canceling your surgery. Why? You pregnant? I'm pregnant? I was so floored and thrilled. But can I be honest with you? And I tell my
Hmm.
mom this, I never felt connected to that pregnancy. I never felt like, oh, I knew my belly was growing. And that was the first time that my belly had ever gotten that big that quick. I was going through all the pregnancy. I had my pregnancy symptoms, my pregnancy cravings. I had all of those things. But I just kept on saying something just, and my mother was like, she was happy, but she couldn't get excited about it. And then, like I said, when I went for my ultrasound, the tech doing the ultrasound, and she ain't saying nothing. And I'm like, and I'm looking on the screen, and I'm looking at my baby on the screen, but I don't see no movement.
See no movement.
And
Hmm.
she just walk. I'll be right back. She walks out, comes back in.
Hmm.
She comes back in with the doctor. Hi, Miss Hubbard. Hi. And she like no remorse. Oh yeah, no heartbeat. The baby's gone. Excuse me. Yeah, it's no heartbeat. The baby's gone. You have to schedule a DNC. I said, well, what happened? How old are you? Oh yeah, your age. It's your age. That was it. My hand to God. I put my clothes on. I walked out the room. I didn't talk. My husband stayed back and he talked to them, and I walked out. And and by the time he caught up with me, I was already upstairs in the doctor's office. Give me my appointment.
Look now.
Call the OR and make an appointment. Make room for me. But I got over it. It was painful. It was hard. I think one hit the most harder than any other miscarriage that I've had. Um, that one took me somewhere deep and dark. And I had to step away for a while, even from my church. I stepped away for a while. I stayed away for a while. I didn't preach for a while because the pain was that deep, and I was embarrassed.
Mm-hmm.
I was hurt. I was ashamed. Like, here I am. I'm still miscarrying. God, I thought we was good with this. I thought I was a pro now. I done had two.
But we was here.
Right. We had an understanding. But, God knows, he knows what's best. Um, am I giving up? Whatever the Lord says.
Right. Because, like you said, after you had your first miscarriage, then you had another miscarriage, back to back.
Mm-hmm.
Now I gotta find some type of peace. Now I gotta find some type of. I need to find the joy after this.
Yes.
How did you do that?
I helped God. I always say this. I helped God. I became a foster parent because there was a void in me. And it wasn't a light void. It was a deep, dark void. I just wanted to be a mommy. So God was taking too long. That's how I felt. God was taking too long. So I became a foster parent. Me and my husband, we became foster parents. And that gave me, I'm not going to say joy, but it gave me contentment
Contentment. Mm-hmm.
because there was still a void. Like, I'm grateful. I'm going to love this baby. And mind you, I love my babies. I love them like they came out of my womb. I
All
love
of them.
them. I changed all their names. They are mine. They are my babies. But even even in adopting them and loving them and taking them as my own, I did not have the joy that I was looking for. I had contentment because I had somebody calling me mommy. That's all I wanted. I wanted to be a mommy. And it took it's more of a it was more of a mental fight than anything. Um, because I remember somebody telling me, you just so hard to satisfy, and you just God can't satisfy you. You just I had somebody, you're ungrateful. God blessed you and you still ungrateful.
Oh,
Yeah, I've had some harsh things said to me, but the joy I have is in the fact that there's a scripture that says, and I know this is not a preaching forum, but there's a scripture that says, after you have suffered a
suffered a
while,
while. Mm-hmm.
I suffered to become who I am today.
Hmm.
I cried many nights. I earned my stripes as a mommy. The very shirt I have on, black and white, I
Them
earned the
stripes.
stripes that I have on. I earned the right to be a mom because I not only adopted, but I've raised other children. I've raised children all my life. They laugh. I've been changing diapers for 11 years, and I'm still changing diapers.
Right.
So I find my joy in knowing, God, you told me back in 2009, my bathroom in East Orange, New Jersey, that you were going to make it up to me as I sat in the room and begin miscarrying. You told me you was going to make it up to me. And now I look back and I see all of my babies' faces. You have done just that. And I told my husband, I said, something the Lord spoke to me last week. I said, babe, the Lord said to me, Demetra, I answered your prayer requests, but now I'm going to manifest my promises concerning you. And I said, okay, what do we, God, you made me a lot of promises. Which promise are we talking about? And the Lord didn't say anything else to me about that. And so, me, I was like, well, God, it got to just be one promise. There's this one thing, a promise that you made me that I'm going to hold on. I don't care how long it takes. I'm going to hold on because you can't lie to me. You vow, God, that you cannot lie to me. And to the women, that are listening to us and that will listen to us, that will hear this recording later, I don't care if they said you got PCOS. I don't care if they say that you have endometriosis. If you can muster up faith to believe God, God can honor you. And I'm not just telling you that. I'm not just talking hocus pocus. I'm not just talking trying to be deep and trying to be spiritual, but I'm telling you what I know. God will honor your faith, and God will bless your womb. And you have to speak to your womb. Talk to your womb. You got to talk to your body and command your body to come into alignment. And this is what I have done, and this is what I do on a daily. I speak to this old body. I don't care what the doctors say. I don't care what my body feeling. Listen, body, you got to obey me. If I do what I have to do naturally to take care of you, you got to obey me.
Mhm.
So I just encourage the women, to just keep on. Don't give up trying. If you're mentally tired and you're mentally drained about it, pray about it. Pray. All these babies out here, they need homes. They need mommies. They need daddies. Pray about it. And then start trying again. But don't give up. Giving up is not an option. Not when you still got life in you. Giving up is not an option. Don't you give up. Try as long as you got a husband in an agreement with you and you two have come to an agreement, don't you give up. Don't stop believing God.
I like that. Giving up is not an option. Can't give up, and you can't stop believing God for what He said He's
That's
going
right.
to do.
That's right. That's
Because if
right.
He said it, the Bible is very clear. Because if He said it, He shall perform it, or He shall
That's right.
perfect it until the end. So you got to hold on to that, and that's good. That's real good. Because a lot of us, we lose hope because we don't see it happening. But that's where hope and faith collide. That's what I like to say. I like to say hope and faith collide
Yes.
because they go hand in hand, so they got to collide with each other. And
right.
although I might not be able to see it, but I got the faith that He's going to do what He said He's going to do.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And I don't need the evidence of what I can see right now. I just got to have the evidence of things hoped for.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's good. I think that right there is how you honestly find joy after the storm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When you go through all the things that we as women that we go through, and especially when you're trying to conceive, or especially when you lose a child, an infant, and we'll hear this story not next week but the week after. There's a lot of times where God will literally come to you and tell you, specifically you. He might not tell your husband, you know what I'm saying? Or for those of you who don't have a husband, He might not tell your man,
Right.
but He can come directly to you and tell you, this is what it is.
Right.
And it's up to you to hold on to that, of what it is. I know that my former pastor, his wife used to say the same thing, that, God told her she would have a child, and everything that the doctor said was completely against that. And then that one day they conceive against all of what the doctor said. They conceive.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So sometimes as women, it's up to us to hold on to what we know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times it can be easier. I know even for myself, I just was like, you know what, Lord, I guess it just ain't gonna happen. And that's
right.
I'm okay with that, Lord. I'm okay. Maybe they was lying when they said you said and what they saw, because I don't know, people that said son and daughter, and I'm like, Lord, ain't not near none. Hello.
Right. Right.
I don't get this. You know what I'm saying? So maybe they ain't see what they said they saw. You know what I'm saying? But I told someone like a couple of days ago, I said a lot of times that's used as a defense mechanism, because if it doesn't happen, at least you've built up the wall of defense to say, well, I said I was okay with it, so I'm okay.
Right. But take that wall down.
See,
we're going to take that wall down tonight.
Wall.
Right. We gonna take that wall down tonight, and we gonna, but if it was said, we gonna believe God.
We're gonna believe God.
We gonna believe God. I
Take
had
him
to
at his
wait.
word.
Take him at his word. I waited from 2016. I told you I started trying when I on my honeymoon.
He was like, "We gonna get this."
Right. So I waited from 2006 when I got married, and I did not have a physical baby until 2014.
2014.
So it might take a while, but if God said it, it's gonna come to pass. You can't give up and just like put a wall up, just that just in case rejection happens. I'm prepared for the rejection.
Cause that's what
No,
we prepare for rejection.
right,
I'm
right.
not
You
preparing
prepare
for
for
the.
it.
I'm not preparing for the acceptance. I'm literally preparing for the rejection. I got to prepare
Right.
because then when it happens, I was already
It won't
prepared
it
for
won't hurt that bad.
it. It ain't gonna hurt. It's gonna be like, okay,
But that's a lie.
it is a lie. Because I'm here to
That's a
tell.
lie.
I'm here to tell every single last one of y'all that is a lie. That wall does not work. I myself have had that wall, and the Lord had to literally shut down my whole wall and let me to know we're not going to do that. You're not going to accept what I already said is going to happen.
That's
So
right.
I don't have to let that go. I had me and the wall had to go. Like, never
Right.
mind.
That's right.
And
That's
you know
right.
what? And I tell people all the time because I deal with reality so well. I am naturally, I deal with reality. I have to. I don't deal with ideology. I don't deal with none of that stuff. I deal with reality, and I have a very keen understanding of manifesting reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my whole thing is, and I tell God, I'm like, God, this is my heart's desire.
Right.
This is not a wish. I'm not wishing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't going outside. I ain't what that song. I wish upon a star. Remember that song? I'm not
Right.
wishing
We're
upon
not doing
no
that.
good star. I have a desire. And the desire, Lord, you said you will give me my heart's desire.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
And this desire, technically, truthfully, is not against your will because this desire is actually what I am built and created for. So therefore, you
Yes.
have to.
Yes.
So if that means even in all my good singleness, Lord, we're gonna need you to
Right.
send the husband
Yes.
that has the same desire.
Yes.
Because the key is that I can't have the desire and you don't have the desire.
Right. You have
It
to be in
doesn't
agreement.
it don't work like that. You know
That's
what I'm
right.
saying? We got to be on the same page with this, with the level of understanding that this is a desire, and you can't try to convince me otherwise of my
Right.
desire. You know what I'm saying? And I think a lot of the times, some of us we get trapped up with allowing people to convince us otherwise of our desire. You know what I'm saying? And we can't do that. I don't care. Listen, Janet Jackson was like 50. Hello.
Right. Right.
Now, people are like, oh, but you don't got Janet Jackson money. Listen here,
What
the
does money?
Lord.
Money has nothing to do with her body. It still functions the way mine do.
So whether she had to go through 10 rounds of in vitro, whatever she did, it still was what it was. Like a Halle Berry.
That's right.
It's the same thing.
That's right.
Because you can't give up on your desire to become a mother.
Right.
You will forever feel a void to
forever.
not have one whom truly represents you.
Right.
Don't give up on that.
That's right.
No matter how many times, don't give up on that desire. Don't give up. Don't lose hope. Don't lose out on your prayer
Right.
for this. Because a lot of us have literally sat and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and cried and snotted and rolled on floors and all of that.
Yep.
You mean to tell
I'm a
me,
witness.
hello, the floor ministry was live and functioning, okay?
The sleepless nights.
Hello. The crying, the despair, all of that. That's real. People pressing on your belly, your womb shout. Come on. It had, listen.
Yes.
And you mean
Yes.
to tell me the Lord ain't going to answer? Listen here. You going to answer.
He's going to answer. He's going to answer. But like I said, it's going to require some extra work. It may require some extra work on the woman
Extra
behalf.
tests, finding the right doctor, getting the proper diagnosis. Do not keep accepting a diagnosis from 5 years ago and we 5 years later. There's new technology. Go
Right.
back,
Go
get
back.
a current diagnosis, get a current state of affairs.
Right.
Let everything be current.
And know where you're going. And then you'll know where to go from where you are. You know, you just can't just assume because every month you get a cycle. Listen, you could get your cycle every month. My doctor just told me the other day, you're ovulating every month, but your numbers are low.
Mm.
You can ovulate every month, but
But
if
it's
your numbers are not at a 10.1 and
that
above,
that hormone.
then no baby is going to be conceived. So don't just assume because you're getting your cycle every month that you're going to get pregnant. Don't just assume that y'all going to baby dance. That's what they call it in a TLC, trying to get pregnant. Don't, I've been in all the groups, all the groups I've been in. Don't think because y'all baby dancing that it's just going to magically happen when your body might need attention. Your body might need a little shock treatment because, as I said before, it's a such thing as having a hostile uterus. That is a real thing.
Just hostile.
It's a real thing. Some of our uterus are hostile, and you need medication to go in there, bring all that stuff under subjection.
Hello.
But if you don't go and see about yourself, and every month you just disappointed because Mary showed up again, well, Mary gonna keep on showing up if you don't take the proper steps to do what you need to do. And if you are taking the proper steps, if you are seeing a fertility doctor, if you are doing all of the things that you have to do and it's still not happening, keep on believing God. Get with somebody that has been where you are and y'all come to agreement and let them be your iron. Iron sharpens iron. Let them be your tool to help you. Come on, look, I'm getting tired. I'm getting weary. You got to help me through. The sad thing is, I went through this, me and my husband. I didn't know another fertility, person going through fertility issues. This was me and my husband believing God. Sometimes you got to open your mouth and say, holler if it hurts, as they say. Say something.
Say something. Don't stay silent. Say
Don't
something.
silent. Say something.
Because the truth of the matter is, you never know who's your support system around you. You gotta speak.
That's right.
Because I kid y'all not, but I was getting pregnant. Listen here. I called people. I was like, I'm gonna need y'all to pray. I need y'all to pray. And I promise you, I will call my brother and his wife. God bless them. I'll be like, I really need y'all to pray. They'd be like, Nakia, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. Just pray that I really can carry this baby. That's all I kept. I would keep asking them, just pray. I never forget. And one day, something just didn't seem right. And I was like, I would text them, pray. Right. And they would go slam in, boom, we praying. Right. And it's not, and let me say this, and it's not to say that the prayers did not work, because I carried the baby for over 10 weeks. So it's not to say that the prayers didn't work, but I truly do believe, like how the doctor said, scientifically, it was an abnormal pregnancy. Naturally and spiritually, it was abnormal.
Right.
And my personal belief is that God knew my heart's desire. because he ain't going to answer just one part of your desire and not give you the full manifestation of your desire. And the Lord knew, number one, I never wanted to be a single mother.
Right.
Number two, I never wanted to be a single mother. And number three, I never wanted to be a single mother. That was something that from the time I was very young, I was very adamant about.
Right.
And the Lord knew that if I would have had that child, I was going to be a single mother.
My God.
I believe that. So, and also the Lord knew that there are other things that I did not, there was some that, no, I don't want that. And I personally believe that in a roundabout way, as tough as it was for me to go through the miscarriage and just have to deal with all of that, the Lord knew that there were certain things that I 9 times out of 10 probably would have fallen into sin had I had that child. Because I tell everybody, we probably would have fallen off the grid and nobody would have been able to find us because my child wouldn't have grown up and been in a dysfunctional type situation at all. Point blank, period. I never wanted that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that is a testament to how I grew up. And I always made it very clear. I knew I would never want a child to grow up like that. I would want a child to grow up feeling loved by both parents, period. You know what I'm saying? Not feeling the seed of rejection, not feeling that, So there were certain things that I know that the Lord knew that were complete deal breakers for me. And I truly believe that as much of the pain that I went through and as much as people did pray, because I had a select few that were around me that were literally praying, like, no, Nikki, it's going to be okay. And I was like, something ain't right. I'm trying to tell y'all just better pray. But I truly do believe that. So I don't want anyone to think that because we're speaking and we're saying that, you got to pray, you got to command, you got to speak, that because it might not have necessarily worked in every instance, that does not mean that it does not work. What it means is that there's another purpose.
Right.
And a lot of the times we don't fully understand the manifestation or the purpose at that time, right? Because at that time it's very painful. But just like how you just said, you were like, like this for November, you're like, I didn't really feel a connection. I couldn't figure it out. It's not like my mother was happy, but it was something. And a lot of times that is our preparation point.
Right.
I am one of the biggest communicators, and I could not tell people I was pregnant. Because in my mind, I need to make it past this first trimester. And it wasn't because of the typical reason for why you need to make it past the first trimester, right? Because there's a standard, once you make it past the first trimester. No, mine was totally different. It wasn't due to that. I was just saying, if I make it past this first trimester, I know I'll be okay. And the truth of the matter is, when I miscarried, I was only like 2 weeks away from making it through the first trimester.
Yeah. So was I. Yeah.
Go ahead.
And like you said, it's not that the prayers did not work, because anytime I conceived, I covered my babies. We prayed every night. I anointed my bed. I went through this is my life. This is what I do. Oil, cover, God. My favorite scripture is, God, whatever I commit into your hands, you're able to keep. That's my favorite scripture when I'm pregnant. And I was telling my husband, I said, during my time of emotional breakdowns with this last miscarriage, the Lord brought to me scripture about the potter and about the clay. And he said, anything, I'm paraphrasing, anything that's in my hand that I create and I don't like what I create, what do? I ball it up and I start again. And what came to me, I said, because they said it was an abnormal, they can't, it was abnormal, no heartbeat. The baby just stopped growing, stopped progressing. I said, God, this is what came to me. I believe that there was probably abnormality. And God knew that I don't have the grace, or I did not have the grace to have a special needs child. This is just me. I said, God, you were having mercy on me because I already have 5 children. They're active and busy, 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 and you know my life and you know everything I got going on. So God, you would put that on me because you
Mm-hmm.
knew that it would have become overwhelming. Yes, you created life. You showed me I'm God. I could do what I want to do when I want to do it. So
Mm-hmm.
boom, you're pregnant. I'm just doing that because I want you to see you really don't need the medicine. I want you to see the power of God on display. See, because that was just pure love. That was just pure fun. That wasn't Clomid or Famara. So when I lost that baby, that's what came to me. Like, okay, God, all right, I'm gonna take peace. I'm gonna find it that what we created, it was not normal. It would have been more than I can handle. And my mother just said last week, Demetra, I really believe that this baby would have been disabled. And not that babies can't be loved, because they can, but God anoints people, special parents, to have disabled children. God anoints special moms and special dads to have the grace to do that. God said, I'm gonna have mercy on this girl because she gonna probably go crazy, go cuckoo, or try to go cuckoo. Let me just go ahead and just remove this from her, and I'm gonna bless her again. I'm gonna just throw that in there.
Hello.
I'm gonna just bless her again,
Look again. Hello.
again.
Mhm. And listen, and that's let me tell you, when they did all that DNA testing and all that stuff, and he came back and the doctor told me, he was like, it was this chromosome.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a joke, so I was like, that was his. That ain't my chromosome. My chromosome
Uh
is everything about me is right. I'm just
huh.
I did say that. I ain't gonna lie. I did say that to that good doctor.
uh,
I was like, that wasn't my chromosome. I don't care what you say, okay?
mm,
Um, but when he came back and he told me, and I tried to do my good Google search because I was like, what is this chromosome? And the
oh
only
yeah.
thing, listen, I be trying to tell people I am like WebMD. I will Google for the life, okay? Google is my teacher. I went on to good Google and I was like, what is this chromosome? What is this? And the only thing I could find that I could actually understand about that chromosome was that all it could say was, if it's not right, it's an abnormal
It's an
pregnancy
app, and it's gonna dissolve.
and it's going, period.
It's just gonna stop growing. It's not
Period.
even gonna be. It's not gonna be recognized as normal. So your body will reject it.
Period. That was it. And I said, you know what, Lord, you right, because wasn't nothing normal about this whole situation. So
Wow.
I'm going to chalk this up to this was an abnormal situation that produced an abnormal pregnancy. And my body said there is something abnormal about this. So we're going to have to reject this whole thing out now because it
Right.
ain't normal.
Right. Right.
And what we're not about to do is have you in anything that's dysfunctional.
Right.
So let me help you out real quick here, ma'am. Because what you about to embark in is about to be real dysfunctional. And the Lord knew I didn't have the wherewithal for dysfunction because folk, you know, we outside churches fighting and stuff. You feel me? So
My goodness.
therefore,
Right.
everything was already abnormal. Okay.
You had
So
to come
therefore,
swoop right on in to
let
let
me
me
help you
let
out.
me help you out a little bit.
Because what you're not about to do in your hot tempered self is continue in this level of dysfunction.
Right.
Like, in order for me to honestly find the joy through that storm, I had to rationalize what is going on here and why.
Right.
And in my rationalization, I had to then be like, as much pain as it brings the same amount of joy.
Right.
And, that's why I'm like, for people, you have to find that level of joy,
Mm-hmm.
however you find it, right?
Right.
Because for everybody, it's different.
Right.
Okay. But we can't wallow and we can't sit in the pain of it
Right.
without being able to push through that storm and find the joy of it.
Right.
And it's not that it is a joyful situation or life experience of the loss. But when you can truly look at it and say, like for me, everybody said this was impossible. And God
Yes.
already defied the odds of your impossibility. You said, I never conceive.
Right.
Forget a carry. You said I would never, and God showed you what he could do.
Right. Right. So now it's just about the timing of God and the right person and making it happen.
Make it
And
happen.
make it happen. And if that and if the women can just hold on to that, if you can just you don't need a lot, mustard seed. If you can just hold on to a little bit of faith, a little bit of hope. You know, I didn't think I would ever conceive either. But listen, I did. I did
Two
2 times. I conceived and carried.
and
They may
carry.
have they may have came early. I may have had issues that arose during their birth and during their early stages. But guess what? They're both too busy, hyperactive little boys running around here with their other brothers and sisters. They defied both my boys defied the odds. They're here. They both had encounters with death, but they're here. They're here. And I just, I encourage the women tonight that are listening, that are gonna listen, just keep on believing, keep on, keep on doing whatever it takes to make your desire come to pass. How, they used to say, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? If you want it bad enough, you could do what it takes. Yes, it hurts, but guess what? Wipe your eyes. When boxers are boxing or fighting and they get tired, then they ring the bell and they go sit down and they get pumped up and wipe them off. Then they push them back out into the ring. I'm gonna push you back out into the ring. Go try again. I know the doctor not possible. Go find another doctor.
Go find one that's willing to help.
Right. Dr. Suri Thani. He's on Union Avenue. Exceptional doctor.
I heard of him.
Oh, he's wonderful. I love him. I love him. He goes to the extreme. He will fight for you and fight with you. That last pregnancy, he fought with me to the end. Okay. It's good. It's good. He fought with me till when I did lose the baby, he was mad. Why didn't you come back to me? Dr. Donnie, because after 12 weeks, you don't take me anymore. So you sent me to Beth Israel. He fights with you and fight for you. You want a doctor that's going to fight with you and that's going to fight for you and your husband or your significant other. Don't just give up because they said it can't. Can't is not in your dictionary and it's not in your vocabulary if you have a desire.
That's right.
Listen
here. She just gave y'all a good doctor. Say his name again.
Surish Thani. He's on Nye Avenue. Let me find him for you. I can give you his number, but he's right on Nye Avenue, right here in Irvington. He is amazing. And I don't promote doctors. I don't, I never, but Dr. Thani is amazing. His bedside manner, he has held my hand through miscarriages. He has held my hand through procedures. He's patient. You just got to find the right doctor, that's going to be patient with you. And even women with your spouses and your significant others, don't allow a wedge to be drawn between you two during your loss and even during your trying, because it can throw a wedge between the two of you because the woman is so adamant to get pregnant and the man just like, yo, look, I just want it. Why we gotta make a project out of this? Think about those. That's how men are. Women, we gotta make a project out of it. Right. You don't understand. We're on a time schedule. I
got an end result.
Right. Men don't think like that. So my prayer is that the husband and the wife, the spouses, that you would come together and come to some agreement, and that you will work together to make your desire come to pass, and that you have fun.
Have fun while you're doing it.
Have fun. Have fun.
Literally and
It's
figuratively.
going to happen. Have fun. I realize you relax and you don't think about it. Let me tell you, that's what I'm telling you. I can tell you, and I laugh at this. I know the day I conceived in November. I know the day.
Y'all was
I
having fun.
remember the day that I conceived basically all of my children, because I had to let my guard down and I had to stop thinking I'm having sex to get pregnant. And I had to say, God, I've already made my request known to you. I'm going to enjoy the gift that you've given me. And I'm just going to make love to my husband and my body, and God is going to do the rest. We get so wrapped up in trying to make a baby. Trust me, I know I obsessed over it for 15, but almost 50. I obsessed. So it's possible, but you can always adjust and change.
So, like my post said earlier today, from my heart to yours, live.
Yes.
You have to live. Whatever living means to you, that's what you need to do. If you need to rekindle the joy, if you need to rekindle the fun, rekindle that. If you need to rekindle date night,
yes.
If you need to rekindle communication, you know what I'm saying? If you need to rekindle even just sometimes intimacy, you can lose out on being intimate with your spouse, with your significant. Intimacy is extremely important. Intimacy has little to do with sex and more to do with connection.
Yes.
How we connect, how we vibe off of each other, how we really might be able to finish each other's sentences, how we really might be able to complete a thought.
Yes.
Before the thought even forms. You'd be like, I was just about to say, yo, yeah, because so and so. Rekindle your intimacy.
Yes.
Rekindle why you even married the person. What made you want to be even connected with? Sometimes that interconnectedness is a lot of what could be missing.
Yes.
But you gotta live.
Yes.
In order to you gotta live. And I know some of y'all are, well, you single, how you? Because I know, that's why. Okay.
Right. You can still live and be single and have fun and be holy all in the same time. You can.
Holiness is right. But you gotta live.
That's right.
Everybody knows me. Y'all know I joke a lot, but there are some things that I'm actually very serious about. One of the things I'm very serious about is marriage, and I'm very serious about marriage because when you experience the ultimate level of disrespect in marriage, you begin to understand the serious nature of it. I'm very serious about marriage. I'm very serious about intimacy. I'm very serious about connection. I'm very serious about when two become one and they join in together, right? I'm very serious about that because I believe that when you actually make that level of a commitment with a person, one to another, nothing should be able to break that bond. Nothing. 3-strand cord should not be easily broken. And if you find that one of your cords is unraveling, whatever that cord is, I'm gonna need you to get it back like this, okay?
Right.
And let it intertwine and let it be connected. Let you be connected once again, one to another. Letting nothing, not even the air, coming in between that. Why?
Right.
Because we have to understand that there's something, life happens.
Right.
Life happens. And Pastor Demetra even said it her own self that, you know, there was a not necessarily a break, but like a rift, right? Because you wanted your husband to grieve the way you were grieving. You wanted him to understand how you were understanding, right? But then there was a time where this had to all come right back. There was no more rift. There was no more break. There was no more none of that. Because now I have an understanding about who
Right.
he is and how he
Right.
breathes because he's so busy trying to be strong for me. He felt he
Yes.
couldn't break. I
That's
can't
right.
break. She
Mhm.
broke.
Right.
She hurt. I gotta be strong. I cry with my mother. I'm gonna
Right.
cry over here. I'm gonna cry by myself. I'm gonna get me together over here. But for her, I can't break in front of her.
Right.
And a lot of time, men, that is how a lot of men are.
Right.
So I can't break in front of you because you need me to be strong and I need to be that strong person for you. I need you to feel safe. I need you to feel secure. I need you to feel loved. I need you to feel everything that you're not feeling right now. I need to be able to fulfill that for you and then some, right?
That's right.
So now I'm gonna go over here, and while you actually want to give me all of that, that ain't your job. That ain't your place. I don't need that from you. I don't need that. And sometimes us as women, we don't understand that part neither. We don't understand that sometimes men don't need that from us. I had me and my cousin. We I promise you, I always tell him like you like my brother. We talk about so many different things, and one of the things that he said to me, which I personally did not understand this before, but I get it now, right? He said, "Sometimes you women, I don't understand y'all," and I was like, "What you mean?" He
Right.
was like, "Okay, if I'm going through something, that's what I'm going through. But you can't help me through that. But you want to always ask me, well, what's wrong?
Strong.
Nothing. But what's wrong? Because you got this, that, and the third. Yo, what I'm dealing with, you can't necessarily help me with that. So I'm not going to tell you what's wrong because you can't help me with what's wrong.
Right.
But my job as a man is to help you with whatever's wrong with you. So what's wrong with you?
Because I can
And
help.
when he said that, I was like, that what y'all be? Look, that's how y'all think? He was like, yeah, this is what it is. And this is what he was like, and this is what caused y'all so much frustration.
Right.
Because you're not opening up to me.
Right.
I am opening up to you. You know something is wrong. I'm just not telling you exactly what is wrong because you don't have the wherewithal to be able to fix what is wrong. So I'm not going to communicate with you what is wrong. Number one, because it's not your burden to bear. My job is to bear burdens, not you.
Right.
That's how men think.
That's how men think.
And we got to respect that.
Or they don't want us to downplay what they're feeling.
Because
we will downplay, and I've been guilty. We will downplay if something's going, I've got, what's wrong with you now? What's wrong? See, babe, that's why I don't tell you nothing. Never mind. Because we as women, we keep going. Hurt, pain, frustrated. We keep going. We can have the world on our shoulder, kids on our back, one on our leg, brain, but guess what? We'll keep going. And men don't understand, that if like when my husband would go through something and I'd be like, babe, what's wrong with you? Oh, babe, nothing. I'm all right. And I get frustrated. Well, wait, something wrong. Because he won't open up. Then when he do open up, it ain't even that serious. See, babe, that's why I ain't even tell you. Never mind.
right. And we
So,
saying here.
right. So like you said, we don't have the capacity.
And they know it. So I'm going to say rekindle. Whatever it is that you need to rekindle it. Build back up your bond, build back up your strength, build all of that back up. And then, like Pastor Demetra said, giving up is not an option.
That's right.
If it is your desire, go after your desire, go after what you want. Pastor Demetra, whatever you got to say in closing, that's what we're going to do. Whatever you want to say.
I have said more than enough tonight, but I'm excited, and I thank God for this forum, and even the opportunity to share with the people, or the women, the men. I thank God for this opportunity because it's so silent, and the women need to know that they're not alone. They need to know that that you have people that have been where you are and that can advocate you and help kind of shed light on your situation. And if you are one of the women that are listening to this podcast, and something that was said tonight, take it, run with it, do what you need to do. But I want you to be encouraged. I want you to stay encouraged. And I pray that God will bless your womb, that God will open up your womb, that God will cause you to receive the desires of your heart. When you look at me, you're looking at the manifestation of God's promises over my life. I wish I could go upstairs and get them all, all of them, all the ones that are home, and all 5 of my babies, and just let you see the blessings of the Lord. They do make rich and add no sorrow. So do not give up, because God is not giving up on you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Pastor Demetra. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Even thank you so much for that prayer, because that's what it was. Thank you for the women and for the men, and for just giving us your heart tonight. Thank you. I want to thank everybody for tuning in, for rocking with us. We will be back next week with another woman, with another journey. We're journeying with us women this month. We're going to journey because everyone's story is very similar,
Right.
but how we reached our points are different.
Right.
And I think that it is imperative that we open up this dialogue in how we reached our points in order to bring life into a situation that has always been hushed, and we don't talk about. And this is why the muzzle came off, and this is why the muzzle is off, because we're going to talk about things that might not be as comfortable as people might seem. But the way in which we're going to talk about it is through communication and through conversation. Because I just believe I love conversation. I love conversing. So I just believe it's imperative. So everybody, definitely tune in next week, Wednesday, where we will have our next guest, Miss Kiara. And she's going to give even her testimony, even her story concerning surviving after loss, and then finding joy after the storm. So thank you again, once again, Pastor Demetra. Tell your husband I said I thank him. Because like you said, we do all things in decency and in order, and you spoke to him, and you let him know, like, babe, this what I'm. He like, all right, go ahead, babe. So I appreciate both of y'all. And like I said, one of the things I keep saying is that we're restoring hope, and that anything I do on this platform, on this podcast, and anything that I do, one of the things that I know I am doing, even though I might talk about some things that might be extremely racy, extremely uncomfortable, especially in the after dark moments. But there's a reason for everything. And one of the things is to restore hope, joy, laughter.
Yes.
We need to learn how to laugh at some things. Yes. And so I take a different approach, but I want to, for this month, to restore hope and joy in women that truly have suffered through and might feel that I can't try again. And I want them to see women that have tried again and have succeeded in their tries. You know what I'm saying? And I think that it's important that we show that, and that's what I'm bringing to light. I myself, you guys are all encouraging me to keep trying.
Yes.
Not physically though, but you know what I'm saying, mentally, spiritually, what I'm saying, keep trying, keep hope alive, keep the faith, and keep in remembrance what the Lord has spoken. So I think everybody that has spoken thus far, you and Shaniqua, and those that are yet to come, I'm excited. So thank you. And thank y'all for watching. Like I said, everybody tune in next week, 7 p.m., same time, same place, right here where we at the Muzzle Is Off Podcast. I truly thank everybody that has supported thus far, and just know that we're yet still growing, we're yet still evolving, and we're yet still coming up with new and exciting things. So thank you all, and I hope that everybody has a good night. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good
Good night.
night.
Thank you.